All right, so we got a video called How to Train Alone. Let's see what we got.
The key to improving our skills as a footballer is ensuring we spend enough time practicing the skills that make up the beautiful game. However, often in our journey as players, we find ourselves without
I'd argue that the important thing is playing football because that's where your skills will develop holistically, naturally, organically, and in exactly the correct way it needs to get better at the game of football.
a team or a mate to practice with. But if you want to improve your skills, you have to be willing to spend time practicing on your own. Today, I'll take you through a highly effective and complete individual training session that you can do all on your own. Before we jump right in, I have to tell you what the focus of today's training session is. We are going to focus on being technically sharp with 6 different sections that we'll complete today. And the session will last about 60 to 90.
So one thing I want to note that's interesting is why do we as footballers, and I'll say as humans in general, why do we need to separate things and put things into compartments? Because yes, I get it. This is a technical session and you want to work on your skills, but that doesn't mean it can't be an athletic session. It doesn't mean it can't be a positively emotional session. It doesn't mean it can't be a spiritual session. It doesn't mean it can't be, a comprehensive session making you a comprehensively better footballer.
90 minutes. A perfect session that you can do about 3 to 4 times a week. All you need
I'd argue, if you have time to do 3 to 4 sessions per week that are an hour or an hour and a half, you're not playing enough football.
today is a bit of space, a set of cones and a football. And if you
You never need cones. Football Entangled.
want to get the most out of your training session, really listen to everything I explain so that you ensure you perform.
Yeah, I think earlier in the video he said, this is good if you don't have friends to train with or places to play. And I see this a lot in my DMs on Instagram and in the comments on YouTube. You need to find friends to play with. You need to be socially adventurous and socially brave, and just frankly just be a good human being. Find leagues to play in, find pickup games, find men's leagues, find indoor leagues. It's not that hard. Just ask around, talk, say hi, my name is so and so, I want to play soccer, can I join your guys' team, whatever. Like, just make it happen. There's no need to be antisocial and go to the park because you're nervous about finding some guys to play with.
Perform the skill with the correct technique and try not to skip any exercises. The first part of the session is one of the most important aspects of training, and by doing so you ensure you get the most out of the session ahead.
Alright,
We're going to begin by warming up our body. All I'm doing is dynamic movements, getting my mind and body switched on. By warming up, you ensure an increase in energy throughout the session. You'll feel better when training, and you will ensure you don't get injured so that you can practice again. I've set 2 cones, placed in a distance, and I'm doing exercises like going side to side, kicks, and hip openers. Aiming to
So personally, I like doing this in a different way where you jog around the field and then every 5-10 seconds you do a different dynamic warm-up move. And I find it a lot nicer than just putting cones and just going in a straight line back and forth.
warm up all the aspects of the body that I'm going to use for the session today. Now that we have warmed up our body physically, it is important we get sharp technically. Today we'll be taking in a lot of touches, so we're going to start getting comfortable with a quick technical warm-up. An important aspect of football is being able to control the ball from the air, and a great way to improve our touch and control is by juggling. We're going to stick with 5 simple variations today, starting off with some right foot juggles and switching to some left foot ones as well, because it is important we can play with both our feet.
Yeah,
We're going
this
to
is
move into alternating juggles.
But this is fine just to do for a little warm-up. I don't mind it. That's fine.
Get comfortable at using both feet. We're then going to do small toe juggles, a good challenge for your legs. Do both sides. Do about 50 reps for each of these juggling exercises.
Yeah, so it's funny, if you have the conscious ability, the conscious functionality in your feet, then doing these kind of juggling actually is very beneficial. But if you don't, it's almost a waste of time.
Another important part of the game is to be able to keep the ball close to your feet and look comfortable while doing so. We're going to quickly warm up our ball control with 3 quick exercises. Get 2 cones and put it about a meter apart. First, we're going to begin by performing sole rolls. Next, we'll transition into taking small touches with the inside and outside of our feet. Finally, we'll finish off with some croquettes, made famous by none other than Iniesta himself. Football demands a lot of changing in direction from its players. Being able to be quick on your toes and fast on your feet allows you to get away from your opponents, getting that extra yard, allowing you to create.
All right, guys, I don't have time for any of this. This is so boring. Long story short, you don't need to do any of these drills. Some of them I think are fine if you want to do it as like a supplement, but the main meat, if you are doing an individual football training session, should be maximal intent, full explosive dribbling, going past imaginary defenders in your head, scoring on goal. That is by far the most valuable skill in the football world, which is why strikers and wingers and number 10s are the highest paid players and the highest valued players. That's the skill you should be working on, regardless if you're left back, right back, holding mid, whatever. Work on the best skill in football, and your game will improve comprehensively. You don't need cones. You just need you, your ball, and your mind, and unlock that flow state. All right. If you want to learn more about that, I have a course called Self-Made Talent where we cover all that in depth. I'll put a link down below in the comments. Hit me up if you have any questions. Adios.